Hey, what's going on, guys? It's DK, back at you with another video here to break down the 5-game NFL preseason main slate on Saturday. If this is your first time watching, I cover content for daily fantasy sports, as well as for player prop stuff like Prize Picks and Underdog. Underdog, they're the sponsor of today's video. You can use the code DKDFS or the link down below for a $250 deposit match bonus. Underdog is offering preseason props. We've been playing there and on Prize Picks and have had a lot of success. We hit a 25x full sweep yesterday. You absolutely love to see it. Under season with Cam Akers, P. Ryan, Mechie, Watkins, Albert O, and Malik Cunningham. So $30 into $750. Yeah, do love to see that. And yeah, if you guys look for more content, you can check my Patreon linked in the description. Again, we are covering NFL preseason, and it's been a success so far. Okay, let's quickly recap last night for DFS for me. So I'm on full tilt mode, guys. I can't with some of these, like preseason, you have to make, educated guesses, right? And some of the stuff that I see coaches do is just insane, man. Like, what are we doing? John Reese Plumlee is returning kicks, doesn't even play quarterback. Like, why does Kyle Allen? You guys know what you have in Kyle Allen. Why is Kyle Allen playing 3.5 quarters for absolutely no reason? Made no sense. And then I had Emory Jones came in for one snap at the end and fumbled. It was going to be a DNP. I had Plumlee over rushing yards and Emory Jones over rushing yards because I thought it was pretty clear both would get about a half, right? I think that was a reasonable assumption to make for a rookie quarterback in Plumlee to get the whole second half there, because we knew Fields was going to get a couple drives and then Kyle Allen, and then I think again very reasonable to expect a half for Plumlee. And for the Ravens, can we talk about what they did? Why is 50-year-old Josh Johnson playing the whole half? Why? And then Emory Jones gets one snap at the end of the game. You don't want to see what you have in your rookie quarterback in preseason week one? Some of the stuff just doesn't make sense. So, I mean, if I played any other quarterback, I would have won high stakes. First place in this was $5,000, had 10 more points than me. I had a 0 at quarterback. But yeah, I played right Washington at running back with Ali. A lot of Washingtons I played. Two Washingtons at wide receiver. I liked Covey as a contrarian wide receiver play. I thought he was way overlooked. I ate the chalk with Stover, ate the chalk with the Eagles D. So I still cashed with a 0, guys. With a 0. So it was an extremely profitable night overall. We cashed with a 0 on the showdown. We had a full sweep, 25x for player pop. So see if we can keep it going. All right, we're going to go team by team, make this pretty quick. So for the Chiefs, we know what Andy Roll is a complete troll. They have 4 quarterbacks on the team. Mahomes, he says this every year that he's going to play a quarter. He plays one drive. No interest in Mahomes. Really hard to get to anyone else. They have 4 quarterbacks. Running back, also pretty hard to get to. A lot of running backs on this roster. Again, expect Pacheco one drive. But there's too many bodies here. And at wide receiver, there's too many bodies as well. We'll keep an eye on the status. I don't think Hayek's going to play. We'll keep an eye on the status of Tony. But even so, I think they have like 13 wide receivers or something, 14. Again, the starters are going to play like one drive. So like Rashee Rice, Hollywood Brown, probably Xavier Worthy one drive, but still pretty hard to get to anyone on the Chiefs. And at tight end, they also have a ton of guys as well. So the Chiefs are basically full fade for me. Now for the Jags, also pretty unappealing team. We got news that the starters are going to play a series or 2. So pretty hard to get to Lawrence with that news. And then it's going to be CJ Beathard. Will be the second quarterback, and then Mac Jones. So I think Mac Jones is the most playing time upside. My guess is he gets the whole second half, so he's playable. Running back for the Jaguars. So again, ETN should play with the starters, and then probably Tank Bigsby. Robinson is out, but they still do have like 5 backs, so not a ton stands out here. They are so deep at wide receiver. With starters expected to play 1 to 2 series, it is almost impossible to get to anyone here. 13 healthy wide receivers by my count. Yeah, I mean, if I'm playing someone that's on the middle of the depth chart, but really hard to go there. And then at tight end for the Jags, still have a lot of guys. 6 probably healthy guys. But yeah, so this first game is basically a full fade for me. Okay, game 2. So Tampa Bay, Baker Mayfield is not playing. Baker Mayfield and some starters. So we should get a half of Trask, a half of Wolford. I think Trask is a slightly better play, so he's a solid option at quarterback. Now a running back. So Rachaad White, my guess is that he doesn't play. And then Chase Edmonds has also been out for a bit. So the Bucs are actually relatively thin. At running back, you got Bucky Irving, Sean Tucker, D. Williams, and Jefferson. I think Bucky Irving probably has the upside to play the most, so he's probably the preferred option there at running back for Tampa Bay. At wide receiver, it's pretty gross, man. Again, I'm not expecting Evans or Godwin to play, but we got confirmed that all the rookies will play. There's still a ton of bodies here. They have 13 guys, 11 if Godwin and Mike Evans don't play. Kind of hard to prioritize any of them. At tight end, they're also pretty deep here. So just not a ton to like for Tampa Bay. Let's move on to Cincinnati. So Cincinnati, 4 quarterbacks on the roster, and Joe Burrow is expected to play. Now, my guess for Joe Burrow is probably a drive. Maybe 2 at most, but really hard to get to the Bengals quarterbacks. They have 4 at the running back position for Cincinnati. So my guess is that Zach Moss plays with the starters. Chase Brown probably mix in as well. But they still do have 6 guys here. So not a ton to love. I think probably Evans would be the preferred option if I had to pick a Cincinnati running back. Wide receivers, so don't think Jamar Chase will play. I think T. Higgins just plays with Burrow, so he'll probably play 1 drive. Charlie Jones got banged up, so they're actually not as deep as some other teams. So we'll monitor the situation here with inactives, but I think some of the middle of the depth chart guys are fine. Uchovas, Irwin. I think Irwin could get grouped with the starters, though. Lassiter's fine, Pryor. So there's some playable wide receivers here for Cincinnati. At the tight end position, so you have the preseason GOAT is on this team, and Tanner Hudson. Again, Gesicki, Sample, not expecting them to play much. You also have the rookie Eric All, who I think is fine, but Hudson, All, I think are reasonable tight end plays here for the Bengals. Move on to San Francisco. Okay, so San Francisco, we got 4 quarterbacks on the team, but we got most of the starters expected not to play for the 49ers, right? So at least 3 quarterbacks: Dobbs, Allen, and Mordecai. There's other teams that only have 2 quarterbacks, so not a ton to love there. Now, at the running back position for the 49ers, so we're not expecting McCaffrey or Elijah Mitchell to play. And then also Guarandano is banged up and not expected to play. So they actually are relatively shorthanded. You got Jordan Mason, you got Patrick Taylor, you got Schroeder, the rookie. So there are some playable options here for the 49ers. At the wide receiver position for San Francisco, so they are also relatively shorthanded here at wide receiver. So we're not expecting, again, the starters to play. So I think that'll be the top 3, right? Ayuk, Debo, and Juwan Jennings. The rookie, Pearsall, is a little bit banged up. So don't expect him to play. Chris Conley, also a little bit banged up. We'll keep an eye on that. Tate Martin's been a little bit banged up. Danny Gray missed practice. So this team could be pretty shorthanded at wide receiver. So I'm going to keep an eye on some of this injury news. But, second-year guy like Ronnie Bell is pretty interesting. You got the USFL legend and John Trey Kirkland. This team could be pretty thin. Trent Taylor, the veteran's been around for a while. So I definitely have some interest in these 49ers receivers. We'll see exactly who ends up playing. And then at the tight end position, not a ton here. Again, George Kittle not expected to play, but they still have 5 other tight ends. So, All right, move on to Tennessee. So Tennessee, we got starters expected to play a couple of series. Will Levis is going to start, and then Mason Rudolph, and then Malik Willis. I think Malik Willis will be the preferred option here. My guess is, again, a couple drives for Levis, Rudolph to finish the half, and the whole second half for Malik Willis, who is mobile. So I think Willis is probably your top quarterback play there for Tennessee. Now, at the running back position, so they do only have 5 running backs. They're relatively shorthanded here. You got Pollard and Spears at the top of the depth chart. My guess is that they're mixed in with the starters. Maybe you get a series of Spears with the second unit, but then that just leaves Haskins, Chestnut, and Small. I think all 3 pretty solid running back plays here for Tennessee. At the wide receiver position, so we're not expecting DeAndre Hopkins to play. Again, starters, I think probably this group of Ridley, Boyd, Burks, Westbrook, Akine get grouped in, play a few series. But they are a little bit banged up behind that. Dowell's been out. Harrison's banged up. So they are relatively shorthanded behind the main guys. So I think some of these guys farther down the depth chart are a little bit interesting. Jackson, I think is interesting. Kinsey, Phillips. So there are some playable wide receivers there for for Tennessee. At tight end, it's pretty gross. They have 6 tight ends. Not a ton to like here. Let's move on to Seattle and the Chargers. Okay, so for Seattle, we know that Geno Smith is not going to play. So that leaves Sam Howell and PJ Walker to what I think will split the quarterback duties. I think both are good plays here. Both are 2 very good options. Both are mobile too. So both expected to play a half, both mobile. I'm pretty high on both Sam Howell and PJ Walker. Okay. So for running backs, again, not expecting the starters to play. So don't think we'll see Kenneth Walker. Charbonnet probably starts with the second unit, plays a little bit. And then I still do have 5 other backs there: McIntosh, Holani, Lewis, and then Kyrie Robinson. So no real standouts. I think like the younger guys would probably be the preferred options there: McIntosh and Holani. Now at the wide receiver position, so again, starters not expected to play here for the Seattle Seahawks. So I think Metcalf, Lockett, Jackson Smith, and Jigba all don't play. We'll see about Jake Bobo. He's been playing well. He's kind of the wide receiver 4. So I don't know how much he's going to play. He might be too good to play a lot in this game. So looking to more the mid to back end guys, Laviska Shenault, D. Eskridge, Winston, all solid options here for Seattle. All right, looking at the tight end position. So they have 6 tight ends. Again, Noah Fant's not going to play. So at least 5. Not a ton to love here. I guess Pharaoh Brown's playable, but yeah, tight end is pretty gross on this main slate. Okay, moving on to the Chargers. Another pretty gross team to talk about here. So Chargers, they have 5 quarterbacks on the roster. We're not going to see Herbert, obviously. Stick is going to start, and then Dugan. But Harbaugh did say that all 4 quarterbacks are expected to play. We're not a lot to like there for the running back position, or for the quarterback position. Now, for the running back position, we already got confirmation there's going to be no Gus Edwards and no J.K. Dobbins. So that leaves 4 running backs here. You got Vidal, Spiller, Dotson, and Patterson. I think all pretty solid plays. If you have a running back room that is 3 to 4 backs, that's relatively shorthanded. So I think all the Chargers backs are solid plays. Again, like the starters, not expecting like the top guys to play here. Palmer, McContney, DJ Chark. But they still do have a lot of options here. A lot of guys that on the depth chart. So Quentin Johnston's been very disappointing. Nothing that really stands out to me for the Chargers at wide receiver. Moving on to tight end. They have 6 tight ends. Not much here either. All right, let's finish it up here with the Saints and with the Cardinals. Okay. So for the Saints, Derek Carr is expected to play, but I think he only gets about a series. They do have Taysom Hill as a quarterback. He's more of a tight end, so he's not going to play. I mean, he might get like a snap or 2 at quarterback, but don't expect much there from Taysom Hill. So that leaves Haener and Rattler. Both quarterbacks are somewhat mobile there. So I'm intrigued by the 2 young Saints quarterbacks here with Haener and with Rattler. All right, I'm talking through the running back position. So I doubt we see a ton of Alvin Kamara. Again, I think he'll play like 1 series with the starters. Kendrick Miller still banged up. Jamal Williams, again, veteran. I don't think we're going to see a ton of him. So that leaves Mims, Robinson, and Kobati as solid options here that I do think will get a decent amount of work. The other guys there are fullbacks on the depth chart. Now, wide receiver, I think this is probably my favorite team to target for wide receiver. Again, they're pretty banged up, and I'm only expecting like 1 series, maybe 2 from the starters. So again, I think Olave will get grouped into the starters. So he should play a series or 2. Shaheed and St. Brown have been banged up. We'll see if they're going to be able to go. Means and Tipton also banged up, and then Stanley Morgan missed a recent practice as well. So the Saints could be very short-handed here. I think A.T. Perry, second-year guy, could play a lot. I think he's probably going to play the starters and then a good amount for the rest of the first half. You got Cedric Wilson, I think will have to play a lot. And then kind of back-end guys. Callaway was on the team for a while. Nakua, Austin. So the Saints, I think, are going to be the most short-handed team at wide receiver. So probably my favorite team to target for wide receiver. All right, tight end. So we know Jawan Johnson's not going to play. I think Foster Moreau plays with the starters. Taysom Hill, I don't think you need to see a ton from him, but they still have a lot of viable options here. I think probably the preferred option would be a Hulker, rookie tight end. I think will get a fair amount of work in this game. All right, finally, so we got the Cardinals. We already know that Kyler Murray is not going to play. So you got Desmond Ridder and Clayton Tune, both somewhat mobile. I'm expecting about a half each for the two quarterbacks. So both those guys, I think, are solid options for Arizona. And then, so for running back, they have 6 guys in the depth chart, right? DeMarcato's been a little bit banged up. We'll keep an eye on that. My guess is he doesn't play, but it's not a guarantee. And yeah, I doubt we see much of James Conner, right? So that leaves, 4 backs if DeMarcato's out, with Benson, Dallas, Carter, and Tony Jones. So all like decent options at the wide receiver position. So again, my guess is you don't see the main guys. Maybe a drive from Marvin Harrison, Michael Wilson, but I don't see a ton. This room is pretty deep too. They have 12 guys. I mean, maybe if we get some guys inactive, like maybe they do end up sitting a lot of their veterans, and we can target some of these back end guys. But right now, not a ton to like there for wide receiver. And then at the tight end position, so again, I doubt we see much of Trey McBride. And they still have 5 other tight ends on this team, so not great. You do have some younger guys here, Raymond Higgins, Whitehart, but again, tight end, like I said, is pretty gross on the main slate. Okay, guys, so that's the quick breakdown. Again, I'll have a lot more in-depth content posted on Patreon. We already broke down the early slate, player pool, main slate video, and then live stream before lock. Also, I'll be in the Discord for the rest of the day. But yeah, thanks again for watching, guys. If you do enjoy, make sure to like, subscribe, hit the notification bell. We're getting a lot of support on these videos, so really do appreciate it. And we'll see you guys all